There are so many misconceptions out there about what autism really is. I know when I was first diagnosed a few years ago, she even put in my paperwork that I was diagnosed with Asperger's, and that term hasn't been used in several years. So we're going to talk about the umbrella that autism is. So let's talk about that circle of autism. That's why it's called a spectrum. And what is that Autism Wheel thing anyway? So what it is, basically, it's a visual representation, and it organizes critical areas affected by autism into an easily understandable format. It also covers the main domains where autistic individuals experience things differently, including communication, social skills, sensory sensitivities, interests, and routines. And by breaking those down, it can help us understand the diversity that is autism. Here's a really good graphic to explain what I'm talking about. So, a lot of people, I think, still think of autism as being a line. You know, you're less autistic to more autistic, but it's really more of a circle. So, what that circle can cover is things like social difficulty, anxiety, interoception, sensory needs, routines, executive function, depression, language and communication, tics and fidgets, special interests. In fact, there are so many wheels you can find out there. I don't know which one is the original one. This is also a wheel about autism, but it puts things differently. It goes more into detail, and you are welcome to check that one out. Now, I also found there's a test you can take online for free, and it's on idrlabs.com. So I'm going to take this test with the 50 questions. I'm going to get back to you and let you know what my strengths and weaknesses are, because I can't wait to find out. So you click on there and you see that there are 50 questions to this test to take, and that's not bad. And if you look over here to the right, it tells you why to use this test. It's a free test. It's clinically oriented, has statistical controls, and it's made by professionals. Sounds good to me. One thing I found very distracting were these ads. I had to hyper-focus on the questions up above that. This test only ended up taking me just a few minutes to take it. Yay! I'm really excited to get the results of this. So if we're looking at my wheel, it shows I have very, very high areas in a couple places and a lot of medium areas and then a couple low areas. So it looks like my biggest issues are anxiety is off the chart for me, and fixation comes in a close second. So noise sensitivities can affect me pretty well, and I do have abnormal flat speech. I feel like that was kind of low. I feel like that should be higher than it registered on this test. But the depression one is accurate because I don't really experience depression like I did in my teen years and young adult years, because I didn't understand myself. And that depression has pretty much about gone away since I had a diagnosis. And then aggression, that can affect me if I'm in what I used to call a meltdown, now stress event or stressful situation. It can affect me, not often though. To the point where in my life there's been times I've kind of hurt myself when I get upset or throw things behind closed doors kind of thing. So I would say that's registers a little bit for me. Tics and fidgets, here's what I didn't understand. That includes the stimming behavior that you do. So I do that on a daily basis. A lot of stimming for me. I do it when I'm anxious and when I'm happy. So here's a little bit of explanation for you why they pick these certain topics to go on the wheel. The first one is depression. So it says that people with autism are 4 times more likely to experience depression than those who are not. And it makes sense when we are experiencing loneliness, having trouble connecting with people. So the next one is fixations. A lot of us have trouble dealing with change is what it comes down to. And as a consequence, we often have routines that we feel we have to follow. And it helps us to feel more in control is basically what it's saying. And also, if we have special interests we feel we must tend to hyper-focus on, this can affect our well-being as well. So the next one is abnormal or flat speech. A lot of us have like intonation. We can experience trouble understanding social cues, metaphors, things like that. The next one is noise sensitivity. A lot of people who are autistic can have trouble or be overwhelmed by noises, as well as lights, temperatures, pain, sensitivities, smells, things like that. Social difficulties, we have challenges in that area, making with friends, having friendships, and understanding nonverbal communication maybe. Anxieties, we can have some irrational fears, phobias, a lot of social stress, anxiety. Can struggle with that intensely. A lot of autistic people can due to different reasons. Abnormal posture, this is the one I was wondering about. Why is it there? Well, it says because we have trouble with perception of our bodily movements. We can be clumsy, bad motor skills, not good at sports maybe. It says one of the hallmark traits of autism is a tendency to avoid eye contact. It may affect you differently, and sometimes we'll have trouble maintaining eye contact due to overwhelming sensory input. So tics and fidgets, it's not what I thought it was. I actually thought it was more like, people that have tics because of Tourette's. But no, it can be also other kinds of fidgeting, like stimming and things like that. This was one I didn't understand what was on there is aggression, and this tells why. So it says some individuals with autism are prone to aggression in the form of hitting objects or things, destroying property, or throwing temper tantrums. It's especially likely to occur for those with autism who cannot speak well, as this is another way of communicating their needs. Well, let me tell you, I can relate to this. There have been times I have injured myself, like hitting the steering wheel with my hands, or aggressive as far as throwing things if I was upset in my room. And I guess at that point I just felt like I couldn't communicate with anybody. But I feel like this pretty much nailed it pretty well for me. And it's exciting. I have my own wheel. Oh, look at that. I didn't even notice at the bottom it says your autism spectrum symptoms are high. And I'll definitely be keeping this. And it's a good tool to show others. If other people know you have autism diagnosis, share the wheel. Share that wheel. Your family might like seeing your wheel, how autism affects you in what ways. So this is something I'm definitely going to share with my family to see. And then it also helps them to understand that autism is not just linear, it's not just a line, but it is circular. I want you to go take the test and tell me how yours varied or was different from mine. And what did you find out about yourself? If you have not subscribed to this channel, would love to have you a part of this growing community of autistic adults. I put out weekly content. And if you liked this video, go check out these 2 videos, because they relate a bit to what I was talking about and go into different details. So check them out. What are you waiting for?